Welcome back to the channel. I'm JMatt. This is the JMatt Show. Let's get it.
Straight over. Smokehouse beats.
I'm back with another YouTube recommendation video. This should be a good one. Y'all heard of Derrick Jaxn? This dude, he be talking about relationships all the time. I first got hip to him on Facebook a few years ago when I was on there. I think he made a name for himself on Facebook, making little clips like this, talking in his car about relationships and women. He got a lisp. He got like a real bad lisp. And it's real hard for me to like listen to dudes talk for an extended period of time that got a lisp. Like Nick Cannon, one of the rare dudes, he's like, he kind of got his under control. Like his is real bad. So he be talking about relationships and you got to say a lot of S words. But we gonna listen and see what he got going on, man. He say this is the #1 reason married couples end up miserable. Now I had to watch this just based on the title alone, because you know. So let's see what this dude got to say, man.
Team Jackson, what's happening?
I'm not Team Jackson.
I was just watching a video where a woman was talking about, most of her married friends or people that's in relationships that she knows personally for 2 years, 3 years.
So first off, like we just started the video. Y'all hear all them S's? What's up, bro? Yeah, I'm gonna hit you as soon as I'm done. Anyway, that was big, bro. But anyway, like I said, man, we didn't heard the S's come out already. So y'all, I think you know what I'm talking about.
More, they're unhappy, they're miserable. And the whole conversation between her and her friends was basically going to a point where they were like, that's the problem. Marriages, long-term relationships, because people end up unhappy. And let me say this, I do believe there are way more people that are in marriages and long-term relationships that are unhappy than are actually happy. I do, the same way that most marriages end in divorce. A lot of marriages are existing today with two people who cannot stand each other.
That's a fact.
But it's not because of what reasons a lot of people think, they chose the wrong person.
But what is
they didn't ask the right questions in the very beginning. They should have done this, they should have done that, been celibate, et cetera, et cetera. And then the easy answer is, well, why would they stay in a relationship they're not happy in? If you're not happy in a marriage, just leave. If you're not happy in a 5-year, 10-year relationship, just leave. Well, first, let's address that really quick.
Before you address that, that is a fact. You don't need to stay in no relationship that you ain't legally obligated to be in. I might have fumbled obligated, but if you're not legally obligated to be in that relationship, like if there's no cost for you to get out of it, what you tripping for?
Whenever you are in a long-term relationship and you're not happy, you got two choices. You either deal with the perpetual misery of the day-to-day going on.
He said perpetual misery.
Opt for that big, all at one time, acute pain and shock of losing somebody, leaving somebody that you still love. And most times people do still love that person that they're with. They're just not happy with them. And yes, you can be both. You can both love a person and be unhappy with them. But it's kind of like choosing between a nagging back pain that you can still operate with. You can still go to work.
Wait a second. I just want to say this, man. Anybody out there who think that a relationship is just going to remain blissful, like y'all is just always going to be happy and nobody's going to get on each other's nerves, like nobody's going to get irritated. Like if you think you're going to get into a relationship and you never going to look at your partner and be like, God, I don't even like the way you breathing right now. Like, if this nigga chew one more time, like you take another bite of that sandwich, I swear to God, I'm gonna knock the soul out your ass. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, prepare for it. Like, life, love, all this shit, man, is a balancing act, man.
Still
take the good with the bad.
Go to the gym, have sex, whatever you want to do, but it is kind of nagging and it is kind of aching versus going and getting spinal surgery where you're not going to be able to move for 2 to 3 months or do anything. You know what I mean? You're probably going to, in the moment, opt for that nagging back pain and just say, let me tolerate this because I got enough on my plate. Now, the reason why most people end up in marriages and long-term relationships where they don't like the person, but they're still in a relationship with them, is because when they made the commitment to that person, they only made the commitment to that person. Let me explain what I mean.
Yeah, please.
And I've said this before, but in any long-term relationship, you're going to grow into a different version of yourself. And so is the person that you intend to be with. So whenever, like say marriage, whenever you say I do, you can't just say I do to that person that's standing before you. They're going to have experiences. They're going to learn new things. Certain seeds that's in them right now, they're going to manifest and go into full bloom and produce fruit in their life. they're going to be different versions of themselves 5, 10 years ago. You're not the same person that you were probably even a year ago, much less 5, 10, 20, a lifetime ago.
Okay, these are all true
So when
things.
people just say, you know what, I commit to this person in front of me,
What's the punchline?
they don't plan for what they're going to do whenever they start growing apart. Not only do they not plan for that, they don't plan to have a system.
I see what he's saying, man. This dude, like, I don't know. I don't know if this dude be like in the poetry clubs or something. It's nothing wrong with poetry, but he just seemed like, I don't know, man. I don't know what he talking about right now. I don't know what he really. It's almost like he got this thought and he's trying to formulate it like a real simple thought, but he's trying to formulate it into like a sermon that he could preach on Sunday to like some people and get a lot of amens. Nigga, you cannot plan for who somebody's gonna develop into. Where you get that type of training at? Where are they? Where are these courses where you could plan for who somebody is gonna develop into? Like you just said, everybody changes and develops. I'm not the same person I used to be. My wife ain't the same person she used to be. But a lot of who you are does remain the same as far as character, your morals, your foundation. A lot of that stuff stays the same. So, I'm going to let you continue, bro. Explain yourself.
Basically, that keeps them from growing apart, in which you need both, all right? So the daily system for not growing apart looks like having a conversation about what you guys are discovering in your self-awareness journeys every single day. This is what was on my mind. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I've learned. This is what is intriguing me. This is how all of these things are affecting me.
God damn, these S's is getting on my
allows
nerves, this nigga.
to be able to love the version that you're growing into as you're growing into that person. Now, even with that said,
so Mr. Jackson would suggest that you basically have conversations about life and, things that you're experiencing in love and just basically talk.
that doesn't prevent all of the growing apart. There's going to be something that you miss. You need to have a system for whenever you develop more needs that person is not meeting anymore, so that you guys can come back together, because again, it's all about recommitting to the new version of each other that you are constantly growing into. I actually just talked about this in the Cheating Man's Heart Part 3.
Cheating Man's Heart Part. Wait a second. All right, man. Here's just, let's just throw a monkey wrench into things. I like to, embrace both sides of the equation. Am I supposed to plan for someone who is, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm not going to take it outside of the realm of his basic conversation of just relationships. But you can't plan for life, man. You can just go off of what it is that you are in tune with personally and let that guide you. And everybody else has to do their own part. So your partner also has to take time to be in tune with themselves and understand that voice that's guiding them. And once both parties, in my opinion, are in tune with themselves, once you know self, then you can harmoniously come together. Me knowing who I am, you knowing who you are, and then you build on that foundation, and that can carry you through whatever type of changes you might experience in life. Whether you start off skinny and get big, or you start off big and get skinny. Like, I understand the foundation. I'm rocking with you or I ain't. And, let's go ahead, man. I don't think he got that much left.
Look like what the conversation
don't get me started.
In order to establish what needs to happen going forward in order to keep the love tank full. Hey, I know when we first got married, I was cool going half and half, but I feel like I want to be able to look at you as strictly the provider while I handle the domestic duties. Like that's just where I'm at with it. So in order for you to meet my needs adequately, I need you to kind of get a better hold over the finances, so that way I can operate more in this space or whatever. I didn't want to travel. I wanted to live more of a sedentary lifestyle, but now I want to be all over the place. Or, whenever we first got together, I wasn't as intrigued with religion, but now it's becoming a number one priority. Or learning new languages, or experiencing new cultures, period. All of those things. Like, the conversation allows for the two people who are growing, again, evolving more and more into who they're going to be and who they were going to be from the very beginning, that you couldn't have possibly been able to fully map out in the very beginning. It allows you guys to come back together. So now in this season, you're back to being compatible the way that you were whenever you first made the commitment to each other. And if you don't do that, you're going to be stuck at that crossroad between, do I just tolerate the nagging ache in the relationship, or do I go ahead and have the surgery that's going to bring all of this pain all at once? Instead of going and getting to that point and not knowing what to do, you need to plan for what you're going to do before you even get there. So, y'all let me know what you think in the comments. And by the way, for those who are interested.
No, I'm not interested, dude. I wouldn't buy not near book you ever wrote. That was terrible advice. He just had basically like a fancy way with a lot of big words and S's to say that you need to talk and communicate. I would have liked to hear a little bit more about how or why or maybe steps to improve communication so that you don't end up miserable, as opposed to just saying you need a system to prepare and plan for the changing of the guard, which is your mate 5 years down the line, because everybody changed. Nigga, everybody know that shit already. This was useless. No, I'm just kidding, man. If y'all out there looking for marriage, counseling, relationship advice, man, y'all like Derrick Jaxn, keep rocking. But if he come back up in my recommendations, I'm going to break that shit down again, nigga. JMatt Show. We out of here.